video lecture, we are going to discuss about a radio receiver. We will discuss what is the basic principle of the radio receiver. Now, radio receiver is familiar to you. It is a very popular instrument. Initially, it was used for receiving the information, but nowadays the radio is used for the entertainment purpose. So, let us see what is the basic function of the radio receiver. So, or in a modulation, already we have learned that in the transmitter, whatever the information is there, it is going to be modulated by a carrier wave, and it is generating either a amplitude modulated wave or a frequency modulated wave. So here if we see, the transmitter is we have the transmitter, and it is generating a amplitude modulated wave like this. Now in this amplitude modulated wave, that whatever the information is there, this information is here, or this information is here. This information is modulated by the carrier wave in AM wave. Now it can be also a FM modulation. Then it can be also a frequency modulation. So after this modulation, here the signal is given to a transmitting antenna, and the transmitting antenna is converting your electrical signal into a electromagnetic wave. This is the electromagnetic wave. This electromagnetic wave is propagating into the air, and on the other hand, we are receiving the signal. So this signal is received by the radio receiver, and the radio receiver has always a antenna. It is given to the receiver, which is known as a radio receiver. Output of the radio receiver we provide to the loudspeaker. So here you will receive the information. You can recollect this information. So in this way, the information is transmitted by the transmitter in the form of a electromagnetic wave, and the radio receiver receives the information in the form of the electromagnetic wave. It is converting your electromagnetic wave into a sound wave. So let us see what is the process, a process done by the radio receiver. So first of all, if you see, then here the receiving antenna is there. This is known as the transmitting antenna. In a radio receiver, we have receiving antenna. Now, when this electromagnetic wave intersects this wave antenna, then it will produce the electrical signal. So, first of all, if we see what is the function of the radio receiver, so it will intercept the electromagnetic wave. Okay? Now, there are number of the electromagnetic waves because we have large number of the transmitter, and every transmitter is transmitting the wave in the air. So this antenna is receiving the number of the signal. So what is the another function of this radio receiver? It will select the desired signal. Means out of number of the frequency, we have to listen one particular station, so it is going to be selected by the radio receiver. Thereafter, it will amplify the signal. Correct? Because whatever the electromagnetic radiation is coming, if it is coming from the larger distance, then the signal is going to be very weak. So we have to amplify this signal. And after the proper amplification, here it will demodulate the signal. Demodulate the signal means the information and the carrier wave is going to be a separate out. And thereafter, whatever the information is there, this information is given to the loudspeaker to produce the sound wave. So, this information is given to loudspeaker to produce the sound wave. Remember, these are the major function of any kind of a receiver. Either it is a AM receiver or if it is a FM receiver. So first of all, you have to receive the signal, you have to separate the signal, then amplifying the signal, then demodulate the signal, and then it is given to a loudspeaker so that you can listen the information in the form of the sound. Correct? So this is the basic function of a radio receiver. Then the radio receiver has two important parameters, or you can say two important characteristics that we will discuss later on. And one of the important characteristics that is known as a sensitivity. And another important characteristic is a selectivity. So, how to measure the sensitivity and the selectivity, that we will discuss in a next lecture. Correct? So today we will discuss only a basic block diagram of a radio receiver. Now, if you see, there are two types of the receiver. One is known as a TRF receiver, and another is known as a super heterodyne receiver. TRF receiver is a basic radio receiver, and it has a number of the disadvantages. That's why it is not so popular. But the super heterodyne radio receiver is a popular because it has number of the advantage. So one by one we will discuss both the receiver. Today in this video lecture we will see what is the TRF receiver. So let us see a block diagram for the TRF receiver. Okay. So what is the full form of the TRF receiver or the TRF? And TRF means it is called a tuned radio frequency receiver. Tuned radio frequency receiver. So let us see how it is going to work. So basically, any kind of the receiver, the input will be always, there will be an antenna. So here also we have this antenna, then we have number of the amplifier circuit, then the demodulator circuit is there. After that, whatever the information we have, it is going to be amplified by the audio amplifier, and to drive the loudspeaker we require a power amplifier. Correct? So what is the function of the antenna? Already I have mentioned that this antenna is receiving the different electromagnetic wave from the different transmitter. All over the world, number of the transmitters are there, and they are transmitting their information in the form of the electromagnetic wave. So when this electromagnetic wave intersects the antenna here, this electromagnetic wave intersects the antenna then it will induce the current or it will induce the voltage. So here the voltage is going to be induced, or you can say the current is going to be. What is the antenna? Antenna is the same, but simply it is a conducting wire. Remember, and already we know that when the current will pass through this conducting wire, it is producing a magnetic field. Correct? Now the reverse process, that if this magnetic field cut the wire, if this magnetic field is cutting the wire, then it will induce the current according to a Faraday law. Correct? The same way, here also, whenever the electromagnetic wave intercepts this wire, then it will produce the voltage or the current. Now, this voltage or the current, that is in order of a few microvolt, or it is very weak, then it has to be amplified through the different amplifier stages. But before that, if we see that this antenna is receiving so many signals from the different transmitters, that one of the transmitters has the frequency, F1, another transmitter has the frequency F2, third one has the frequency F3, and all these frequencies are producing the current in the antenna. But out of all the transmitters, if you want to listen a one particular frequency, suppose you want to listen a frequency F, or we want the information from this transmitter which has a frequency F, then here the rest of the frequency has to be eliminated or rejected by the circuit. And for that, here we at the input of the receiver, always we have a kind of a resonance circuit or parallel resonance circuit that is known as a TAM circuit or a tune circuit. So what is a tune circuit? Tune circuit is nothing but here it is a parallel combination of a inductor and a capacitor. So by changing this value of the capacitor, this capacitor is a variable capacitor. By changing this value of the capacitor, we can change the resonance frequency. What is the formula? That is given by 1 upon 2 pi root LC. So for particular value of the capacitor, the frequency, resonance frequency F will be there, and for that frequency, the maximum voltage will be induced. Here already you know what is the characteristics of the parallel resonance, that for this particular frequency F, we have a maximum voltage. Correct? So, means we can say this frequency F is selected by the resonance circuit, and the rest of the frequency, here if you are talking about the frequency F1, F1 is there, F2 is there, F3 is there, F4 is there, then all this frequency is producing a very small amount of the voltage, In other words, we can say this frequency are rejected by the resonance circuit. So in this way, at the input of the receiver, we have a kind of a tank circuit which will select a one particular frequency that will represent this as a Fs. So this frequency Fs will be at the input of the radio receiver. Correct? So it is going to be selected here. As I have already mentioned, that amplitude of this frequency will be very, very small, because these signals are coming from the far distance. So they are very weak, and it normally will be in order of few microvolt only. Here, this signal Fs will be in order of few microvolt. Correct? So we have to amplify this signal. Remember, whatever the signal is here, that signal is a modulated signal. Remember, it will be a kind of this. At the input, if you see, then this amplitude of the signal is very, very small. That is in order of microvolt. Then it is going to be amplified by the first stage of the RF amplifier. RF amplifier means it is a radio frequency amplifier. It is a kind of a tune amplifier. Remember, RF amplifier is a kind of a tune amplifier. Tune amplifier means it is amplifying only a single frequency. For whatever the tuning frequency is there, that frequency is going to be amplified and the rest of the frequency is going to be rejected. So that is a function of a tune amplifier. So here if you see in the output of this first stage of the amplifier, the strength of the signal is going to be a increase. That will be in order of a few millivolts. Remember. But still this signal is not a sufficient to drive the detector stage. So again we have to amplify through a second stage of the RF amplifier, and here you will get a large amplitude of the signal. Remember, here whatever the frequency we have selected fs, the same frequency will be here. The same frequency fs will be also here. Single frequency is going to be amplified. Now here these are the tune amplifier. This second stage is also a tune amplifier. So in a tune amplifier, again there will be a kind of a resonance circuit. So at this input here if you see, we have a tank circuit. At this stage also we have a tank circuit, and all these capacitors, remember, all these capacitors are tuned for a frequency fs. So it means this capacitor is connected with this capacitor is also connected with this. So simultaneously all these capacitors are changing. Whenever you are tuning a input frequency fs, at the same time all the capacitor will be also tuned for the frequency fs. Remember, this is known as a gain capacitor. This is known as a gain capacitor where simultaneously 2 or 3 capacitors will be changed. So after the proper amplification of your modulated wave, it is given to a AM detector. This AM detector is nothing but it is an envelope detector. What is the envelope detector? Already we have discussed in a demodulation circuit that if you have a electromagnetic modulated wave, then where is your information? Information is on an envelope. This is my information, or you can say it is a modulating frequency, and inside whatever the frequency we have, that is the carrier frequency. We are interested only in a modulating frequency FM, that is our information. So this information is separate from the carrier through a AM detector circuit. So after this envelope detector, if you see the waveform, if you see this waveform here, then you have only a information signal or a modulating signal. This is your modulating signal. And envelope detector means It consists of one simple diode and the filter circuit capacitor. Correct? Okay. Then up here, whatever the modulating wave is generated, this wave amplitude is very less, is not able to drive the loudspeaker, and that's why here we require to amplify the signal. And here you can control the volume also. So at the before you apply to the audio amplifier, either you can have a volume control at this stage, or you can also have a volume control before the power amplifier. So this is a volume control knob. Volume control knob is nothing but simply it is a potentiometer. Correct? So audio amplifier, it is a, you can say it is kind of a pre-amplifier. It is a class A amplifier. The bandwidth will be, this amplifier will be up to a 20 kilohertz. Correct? So after the proper amplification, we have this signal at this point before we apply to the power amplifier. And we know that the power amplifier, we have to apply the large signal. Then only it can drive the loudspeaker. If this amplitude of this signal is in order of a few millivolts, then the power amplifier doesn't work. The amplitude at the input of the power amplifier must be a larger one, and that's why we require the audio amplifier or a pre-amplifier stage. Then to drive the loudspeaker, here we have a power amplifier. This power amplifier can be a push-pull amplifier, or it can be a complementary pair amplifier, and it will drive the loudspeaker. So the loudspeaker, what is the function of the loudspeaker? That loudspeaker will convert your electrical signal into a sound wave. It converts the electrical signal into the sound wave. And here this intensity of the sound wave, you can increase or decrease with the help of this volume control. So in this way, the TRF receiver receives the electromagnetic wave, that is my amplitude modulated wave, and then after the proper amplification and the demodulation process, it converts into a sound wave and you can listen the information. So as such, if we see that the block diagram is very simple, but it has a number of the difficulty. So whatever the signal is going to be processed, it is not so simple. Here, let us see what is the disadvantage of this TRF receiver. Correct? If we see that here we have number of the tune circuit. Number of the tune circuit is there, and all this tune circuit is operating on the same frequency. So what will happen? That here the signal, input signal is very weak. Here the input signal is a powerful, or the large signal is there. This is a large signal. Remember, antenna is very sensitive. Here when we are talking about the antenna, then antenna is very sensitive, means it will pick up the signal which is in order of a few microvolt. So in a radio receiver, what will happen? If these amplifier stages are very near to each other, and normally the circuit is going to be a very compact, so all the components, all the stages are very near to each other, and here the signal is powerful. At this point we have a sensitive antenna. Okay? So what will happen? That due to this powerful signal, this antenna can pick up the signal, and then this powerful signal, when it will be passing through a copper wire or the copper track, then it is again producing a kind of a radiation. This radiation will be picked up by the antenna if the antenna is near to that a stage of the amplifier. So if the fraction of the signal is going to be entered into this antenna, then what will happen? That if this feedback signal, you can say it is a kind of a feedback. And we know that if we have a positive feedback, then it will start oscillation. So sometimes what will happen? This large signal which is amplified by the amplifier circuit is going to be picked up by the antenna, then this signal is again amplified and again it is going to be entered into this radio through the antenna, so it will start the oscillation. So here why it will start the oscillation? Because at the input we have the frequency fs and amplified signal is also a fs. The same frequency is going to be entered, which is creating the oscillation in the radio. So in that case, now the amplifier is not amplifying the signal, but it will work as a oscillator. So it will produce a kind of a instability. Second thing, that here my input signal is in order of a microvolt. Here the signal which is in order of a volt. Correct? So how much gain is required? Required gain will be a 10⁶ time. So overall gain of this amplifier is very large. And we know that the amplifier gain is large, then the instability will be there. So if we see the disadvantage, that is the instability of receiver due to a large gain on a single frequency. Almost this gain will be a 10⁶. So the gain is very large and therefore the instability will be there. Then already mentioned that due to the feedback, it will work as a oscillator. Feedback, amplifier work as a oscillator. And oscillator means it is an unstable circuit, correct? So this is the disadvantage of a radio receiver, TRF receiver. Now the most important thing in this radio receiver is that the bandwidth of the receiver is changing as we change the radio frequency, as we change the tuning frequency. So let us see how it is going to be changed. Okay. For that, now you should understand that whatever the radio we have, if you see your old radio, then you will find a AM band. In AM band, we have a medium wave band and a short wave band. Correct? We are talking about the AM receiver. Remember. So, if you see this scale on the radio, then there are two bands will be there, medium wave band and then another is a short wave band. The medium wave band has given a frequency range from a 540 kilohertz to 1640 kilohertz. This is a receiving frequency, radio frequency is there. And on a short wave band, it is given a 3 megahertz to 30 megahertz. So, the AM receiver will receive the radio frequency from 540 kilohertz maximum to a 30 megahertz. Okay? Now, let us say we have a scale this is my medium wave scale. Correct? What is the minimum frequency? Minimum frequency is 540 or you can say 550 kilohertz for correct? And the maximum frequency is, let us say, 1640 kilohertz. And in between we have a different frequency. Let us here we have a 1000 kilohertz. Okay? So if you see the radio, then you will find this kind of the scale for the medium wave band. Okay. Now suppose I am tuning a frequency of 550 kilohertz. It means my pointer will be here. The pointer of the radio receiver will be on a 550 kilohertz. If we calculate the quality factor of the tank circuit, then the quality factor is given as, already you know, that is the resonance frequency divided by the bandwidth. We are talking about the quality factor of a tank circuit because the tuning frequency is going to be changed by the tank circuit or the tune circuit. So here if we calculate, if my pointer is on a 550 kilohertz and if I will calculate the quality factor, then this is a 550 kilohertz and we know that the bandwidth of a AM wave is a 10 kilohertz. It is a standard one. Remember, it is any transmitter in the world, AM transmitter in the world has a bandwidth of only a 10 kilohertz. Okay? So here if you see the bandwidth is 10 kilohertz, then what is my quality factor? It is going to be a 55 when I am tuning the frequency of 550 kilohertz. Now, if I will tune, means by changing the value of the capacitor, here if I will tune a 1640 kilohertz and if I will calculate the quality factor. So, the quality factor will comes out to be 1640 kilohertz divided by a 10 kilohertz because the bandwidth is a 10 kilohertz. So this comes out to be a 164. Remember, this is a theoretical calculation. So when we are tuning a radio for a 550 kilohertz, at that time the quality factor is 55. When I am changing to or tuning a frequency of 1640 kilohertz, at that time the quality factor is increased to 164. But practically if we see, this much higher value of the quality factor is not possible. The quality factor, maximum quality factor can be only a 100. Remember, here the 55 is a practical value, it is a lower one, but the 164 is a larger one. So due to a loss of the dielectric loss of the capacitor, the quality factor means that there are different types of the losses in inductor and the capacitor, and that's why the quality factor cannot be increased more than the 100. So let us consider that the quality factor is going to be a 100 maximum. This is theoretical, but the practical you can achieve up to 100. So now what will happen? If this value is 100, then if I will calculate the bandwidth, so here the bandwidth will be equal to, now we can say that FR divided by FR divided by Q. So this is 1640 divided by 100. So bandwidth will be equal to a 16.4 kilohertz. So what is going to be happen? If I am tuning my radio at 550 kilohertz, the bandwidth is a 10 kilohertz. When I am tuning a 1640 kilohertz, the bandwidth of the radio is going to increase to 16.4 kilohertz. It means the bandwidth is go on changing. By changing the tuning frequency, the bandwidth of the receiver is also changing and it is going to increase. Now, if the bandwidth will increase, then what will happen? Let us see. Remember, this is my tuning frequency, correct? Here, I am tuning a 1000 kilohertz. Suppose 1000 kilohertz, correct? And what is the bandwidth of the air? That is a 10 kilohertz. Means the here we have a 995 kilohertz, and at this point we have a 1005 kilohertz. Correct? So my resonance circuit, remember, the resonance curve will be like this. And this is my bandwidth, 10 kilohertz. Okay. Now, here, what will be the next station? Suppose the one of the station is a 1000 kilohertz. Then the bandwidth is 10 kilohertz, means the next station will be the frequency allotted to a next transmitter, that will be a 1010. Remember, here, try to understand. This is 1000 and somewhere here we have 1010 kilohertz. Correct? So another transmitter will be here. And on this side, if you see that at 990, here you can say the station 1 is there. This is the station 2, and here you can have a station 3. Correct? Now when we are talking about this, then its resonance curve will be like this. Its frequency response will be like this. Now if the bandwidth will increase, so what will happen? Instead of a 10 kilohertz, if it become a 16 kilohertz, so 16 kilohertz means here this will be 1000 plus 8. So here you can have, remember, at this point we have a 1008. And somewhere here, this is your 1008 means 992. So this frequency here it is a 992 kilohertz. So the bandwidth is increasing. So what will happen? Now the resonance curve will accept a frequency between the 992, this is your a 16 kilohertz bandwidth is there. It will receive the signal from 992 to a 1008 kilohertz. Means whatever the information is transmitted by this transmitter as well as the information transmitted by the transmitter, this transmitter S2 will be also received by the receiver. Means there will be a kind of a crosstalk, or you can say the kind of a interference will be there. So if the bandwidth is 10 kilohertz, then it will receive the information only from S1. But if the bandwidth will increase, then whatever the adjacent station we have, then this information will be also received by the receiver. It is a interference. Or you can say the selectivity of the receiver is going to be a poor. Here, due to this increase in the bandwidth, the selectivity of receiver becomes poor. This is known as the selectivity. Means instead of receiving the 1000 kilohertz, it will receive the information from 1010 kilohertz. It will receive the information from 990 kilohertz also. So here the single frequency is not amplifying, but the other information is also entered into the radio receiver, and you can listen the 2-3 transmitter at a time whenever the selectivity is going to be poor. So why this is happening? Because that radio receiver entirely, the radio receiver is going to amplify only a single frequency, and due to that the bandwidth is going to be increased. So bandwidth at a lower range, it is a 10 kilohertz, at a higher range it is a 16.4 kilohertz. And when you are going for a short wave band, the frequency is very high. So in that case the selectivity become a very, very poor. Number of the station you are receiving when you tune to a short wave band, because the bandwidth will be more than 16 kilohertz. It becomes a 20 kilohertz or 30 kilohertz, very large bandwidth will be there. So the number of the station at a time you will receive. So this is a disadvantage of a PRF receiver, and that's why it is not so popular. So in short we can say it has an instability because the number of the tank circuits are there, and there will be a probability for a kind of a positive feedback. So due to that your amplifier may be converted into a oscillator. Second thing, the gain of the amplifier is very large, 10⁶ on a single frequency. That's why the stability of the amplifier will be decreased, it will be poor. Third one, that the bandwidth of the radio receiver is go on changing as my tuning frequency is changed. And due to this bandwidth, change in the bandwidth, the selectivity of the receiver become a poor. So how we can solve all these problems? So that is possible only if we use a super heterodyne receiver. So in the next lecture we will discuss what is the principle of a super heterodyne receiver.